Evening, everyone.
Hello out there, internets. I'm back.
Oh,
He's back.
Got to Vanguard is incapacitated somewhat this evening, so we're in charge of the circus tonight.
We can't tell you
Thank
when
you,
it's going to
Nathan.
jump off
Thank
the
you.
wheels, but it's going to
The
jump off the
whales? Well, it already did.
wheels.
There you go. Jumping off the whales all wetty.
vascular wheels.
So how is everybody this evening? We got a few people in here. A couple people. There he is. I see him down there in the chat. What's up, Vanguard?
Hopefully, he'll be back in fighting shape over the course of the next week. We're hoping.
He doesn't have monkeypox, y'all.
Nope, no monkeypox. We can vouch. Oh, he practiced what he preaches.
So,
All
so
right.
this old FBI agent, huh? Timothy
Yeah.
Thibault.
Well, I mean,
He's
they
been
say
he's been at the center of all sorts of crap for the last 2 years, huh?
Yes, he has. I mean,
He's responsible for the January 6th investigation. He's responsible for covering up Hunter Biden.
Yep.
He's responsible for a number of things. I'm pretty sure he had a hand in the Mar-a-Lago raid as well.
You know he did.
I'm just saying. But you know, I've been saying for years that the federal bullshit investigation bureau has been they have been a militant Gestapo type arm of the DNC for years.
Oh yeah, I mean now, if you weren't convinced beforehand that the FBI had favorites and that they were actively trying to take down a political party, well, now you do.
Yep. Well, I mean, this isn't the first time ever since Merrick Garland got at the helm, they've been doing dirty shit. I mean, let's just be honest. And they were doing it before then, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but, but Merrick Garland, he's made sure to push that envelope just as far as he possibly can on behalf of the DNC.
Look, all I'm saying is you keep seeing these articles about he resigned. I keep seeing that he didn't resign. He was escorted from the building.
Yeah, if you're escorted from a federal building and you're some form of law enforcement, you're not leaving under good pretense or pretext.
Here's the thing. The reality is, I think he is nothing. He right now is going to be a patsy for Christopher Wray, because what they're hoping is that this story with Tim Thibault, however you want to say it, it's a French Cajun name, so it's whatever. I'm not a coon ass, so I don't know how to properly pronounce it.
Thibault is probably how it's pronounced.
But he's going to be a patsy for Christopher Wray and the rest of the FBI. What they're really going to hope is that his being relieved of duties and resigning, whatever they officially want to call it, they're hoping that this is going to take attention off all the crap. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but no, Tim Tebow is actually a good man. As much as that bothers me to say, because I went to Florida State, but yeah, I think he's going to be a patsy. I think he is going to be. He's their fall guy.
Sure, that's that's the first page in their playbook. Have somebody to throw under the bus.
That's right. I think what you're going to see in the coming days is articles and reports by and here's the thing. He was the assistant special agent in charge of the Washington, D.C. field office. He was second in command at the Washington, D.C. field office. He wasn't just some dude. He was basically, third in line.
Right.
At the FBI. But what I guarantee you, what you're going to see in the next few days is you're going to see articles and reports about how he was acting in his own interest and not, he was basically being a rogue agent and this and that and the other and blah, 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 blah. And they're going to put all of it on him. Everything for the last 3 years is going to be piled on Timothy Thibault.
Well, here's the thing. If you pile it all on him and say he did this and he did that, then if you're inferring that he didn't do his job, then that would tend to make me think that you're going to have to put all this shit and investigate it in the public.
Who's going to investigate it? Who investigates the FBI?
Well, no, I'm talking about all the things like the Hunter Biden laptop, things of that nature.
Right.
I mean, who investigates the FBI? There is nobody. I mean, nobody. Right. And they're all, let's face it. This is not the FBI that, we grew up with 20 and 30 years ago. This is a different beast.
Definitely. But, okay. So, yeah. We were talking beforehand. So, 2 different shows. I was listening to the, Rogan's show and Megyn Kelly's show. Okay, Megyn Kelly had the whistleblower on.
Yep.
And the other one was Zuckerberg. Well, if you listen
dropped bombs.
Oh yeah. So if you listen to the Rogan podcast, right? And Zuckerberg is sitting there, he flat out asked him, did y'all suppress this? We lowered the information stream on it. He's okay. Well, when did y'all start this? Well, it was a few weeks before the election. The FBI came and said, "Hey, there may be some, another, info dump that might look bad." But he always threw it back to the FBI, saying, the FBI said this might look bad, blah blah blah. Well, if you go back and listen to the Megyn Kelly thing with the whistleblower, he was like, "Well, yeah, we're sitting there looking at the laptop a while before the election, and hell, this guy was so scared of the fact that what he found on the laptop, he went to Switzerland.
Yeah.
Okay, he left the country. Now, in saying that, the guy is also saying, okay, well, they're saying Russian disinformation, which is only what I told my lawyer, but the FBI is coming out and saying Russian disinformation at the same time, which means either the FBI was sitting there, wiretapping the lawyer and him having conversations, which is what it is, or the FBI is sitting there. Yeah, the FBI is sitting there and they're wiretapping a sitting president at the same time they're, investigating the whistleblower.
Well, but we know for a fact that they were monitoring a sitting president.
Oh yeah,
That's but and here's the thing though. They had Hunter Biden's laptop. They want they keep wanting to say, oh, it was only a couple of weeks before the election. They had Hunter Biden's laptop for what, 6 months before the election?
right.
And sat on it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when that story broke.
Yeah.
And it was a good that was in June of 2019. Or prior before that. They had that laptop for a good 5-6 months before the election and just sat on it, didn't do shit with it. And then you've got Christopher Wray coming out in an interview, or not Christopher Wray, James Comey came out in an interview the other day, and where he said, you know what, it didn't really matter what was on his laptop because no matter what was on that laptop, it wasn't as bad as the stuff that Trump was doing. And that was James Comey, the director of the FBI at the time.
Damn.
We didn't care what was on Hunter Biden's laptop so long as we could get Trump out of office. That's what he said in an interview.
I'm still waiting to see all this bad shit that Trump did, according to them. I mean, what he got elected, that was bad. Let's see. Tried to fix the border, that was bad. He wouldn't fuck with the Second Amendment, that was bad. Was bringing jobs back to the country, that was bad. I mean, am I missing anything?
There's probably something else in there.
Don't forget peace. Don't forget the peace agreement between North Korea and South Korea.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah,
that was bad. Peace between Israel and multiple Arab Spring nations.
Yep. Another bad move.
For the first time in our history, basically, we weren't involved in any war in the world. There were no wars in the entirety of the world in the last 2 years of Trump's presidency.
You know why there were no wars in the entirety of the world we were involved in?
No, not that we were not we were involved in. There were no wars.
Okay, well, all right. But to piggyback off that, it's because Trump had balls.
Yeah, and the sitting president didn't have dementia.
I'm tracking. I'm just saying. These are all things. Trump's evil. Trump's terrible. But the man was. If he was so bad, tell me why it is that Trump was nominated for 4 Nobel Peace Prizes. Because of the deals that he brokered between North and South Korea, who officially have a peacetime, have an action. The Korean War is finally officially over.
Right.
And for a time, you had Israel's that brain fart. Never mind. I was writing something.
Israel has signed peace agreements with UAE, with Egypt, with freaking 2 or 3 other Arab Spring nations.
Right.
There was peace. Now that's a rough term considering where, but in Iraq. And now look, Iraq's government has fallen.
Yep.
There is active gunfights in the streets in Iraq. You got the Russia-Ukraine situation.
Yep.
Taiwan just committed to anytime that there's Chinese drones flying over Taiwan, they're shooting them down. They made that statement last week. You've got, yeah.
And you can't forget one of the biggest debacles ever, our Afghanistan retreat,
Yep.
If Orange Man were still in office,
That
oh
would
my,
never
A,
happen.
it wouldn't. It wouldn't have happened. B, if it did, if there was any signal that it did, it would be an impeachable offense.
Oh
Another
yeah,
one.
absolutely.
And the man did all, and it's what kills me. The man did all of that with both sides of the aisle, and the military leadership fighting against it. Now imagine if the GOP would have shut their mouths and actually done some work.
Yeah.
What that administration could have accomplished.
Sure.
But instead, we've got the Federal Bureau of Investigations wiretapping a sitting president and investigating bullshit while you've got a pedophile with dementia and a crackhead pedophile doing foreign business deals with communist nations to line their own fucking pockets
and launder money.
But then you've got Nancy Pelosi, who's just as buried balls deep with them people. You got John Kerry, who's got kids working for the Ukrainian government. You've got, but Orange. We just had to get Orange Man out.
Well, we all know the main thing that pissed him off about Orange Man, and I always think back to when he first was getting elected, and this was before he took office in the White House. And I'll never forget, Pence went to see him at Trump Tower and brought a bunch of lobbyists with him. I don't know if any of y'all remember this.
Yeah, he told them to get the hell out.
Told him take off. And see,
he never could have chose Mike Pence. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Mike Pence is a weak-kneed fucktard.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the reason neither side of the aisle liked Trump was because you couldn't intimidate him. He had his money already, so there was nothing to. The only thing he was getting out of this was legacy, maybe, and to sit here and they just couldn't manipulate him or twist his arm because you can't do it to somebody who's got full control of all the shit. You can't do it. They had no way to intimidate him or to control him, and that's what frustrated them.
They still don't.
Nope, they're trying.
God knows they're trying. Oh, we're going to raid your house. I tell you what, release all the documents. Do it.
Well, you noticed that when they raided that house that he wasn't in town with his security team.
Yeah.
Because they knew that if they, and this is speculation, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but his security team had nothing to take lightly. And I guarantee you, had he been home and the FBI or whoever the fuck rolled up, it would have been spicy to say the least. I'm not saying there'd been a gunfight or anything like that, but there have been a lot of heated exchanges before the FBI ever got in that building.
Well, so here's the thing that kills me right now. Oh, he had secret documents, blah, 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 this and that. The man built a skiff in the Mar-a-Lago estate.
Right.
Which is a secured, I don't remember what skiff stands for, but basically it's a clean room.
Correct.
Now, there is nothing anywhere that says that a former president doesn't have access to top secret, all those documents after he after he leaves the office. In fact, all presidents retain that, so long as those documents are stored properly.
Right.
You mean like maybe not on your personal server?
Right. Not on personal email servers in the basement of your house. Yeah. It's crazy. It's almost like we had a Secretary of State do that and then destroy them with fucking hammers.
And there was no raid.
So,
nope.
He actually had, even if he did have top secret documents, so what? They were in the skiff that was built into the house.
Right.
That had Secret Service agents there guarding it.
Correct.
They were in the building when the FBI showed up.
Right.
But we don't want to talk about that.
Well, you got to understand, they tried to slant all the reporting when that went down in Mar-a-Lago one way, and they left out vital details that would have made the FBI basically look like what they.
Oh, absolutely.
They spun this like, oh, it's all tied to January 6th and this, that, and other, and they're trying to build anything they can. It's like they're throwing any wad of shit they've got at the wall to see if it'll stick. Because
the mainstream media is no better than the Russian or Chinese state media propaganda agencies?
You would probably get more truth listening to Pravda. Just saying.
Just listen to Sky News,
Yeah, ironically, the damn Brits and the Australians get our news better than our own fucking people.
All right.
And that's embarrassing.
And I'll tell you what, Sky News Australia ain't no friend of Joe Biden, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, no, they eat his ass up on a daily basis.
Even the Brits are like, yeah, Trump was not a bad president. What do you guys do? Like, you're stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And the English are notoriously freaking liberal. Even their conservatives, even the Tories are pretty liberal.
Yeah.
I'm saying. When you have Irish members of parliament that are like, fuck you guys, Trump was awesome. Like, but back to this FBI agent in charge. I'm gonna stand by what I said. He's gonna end up in jail. I guarantee you, he'll end up in prison. It'll be white collar club fed, but he'll end up in prison as the fall guy.
I think
Christopher Wray will cut a deal with him. He'll go to prison for a couple of years.
I don't even think he'll go to prison. I think he'll go on WITSEC.
Oh yeah, you do well. Even then, say okay, yeah, my bad. I made a mistake. Write a book or two or three, and make money off of it.
Yeah,
you're right, Patriot.
Yeah, that's kind of where I think it's going to be at.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't know. The problem is the office responsible for IA investigations into the FBI is the Office of Professional Responsibility of the Department of Justice, who has shown themselves on a multitude of occasions to be actively working against
the people of the United States.
The people of the United States. I mean, they are actively going against the Supreme Court at the moment.
Right.
So
every time you turn around, they are.
So it's just like what the concealed carry law that just passed out there in California, in direct violation of the Bruin decision. Well, the Department of Justice is supposed to be the enforcement agency for the Supreme Court. That's what they were designed for.
Well, what we're seeing,
but we're not going to do anything about this California law that is in blatant violation of, yes, the Constitution, but also the most recent Supreme Court decision to come down.
Well, I think what we're seeing is a fracturing of the federal government on purpose.
That's fine. Let's split it up.
Well, okay, but you can't fracture the federal government and the federal government work. Okay? I'm not saying the federal government ever worked like it should, at least not in recent years. But when you start turning different factions of the government against each other,
Makes it easier to get rid of all of them.
Well, it sets up for a multitude of additional problems that a lot of people just can't see the forest for the trees. I'm not saying the people behind it don't see it; they're the ones that want it to happen. But it's just like we were talking about earlier about the folks in Texas. You had the Antifa people there with the or whatever fucking functionaries they were with the all armed up and everything, protecting the trans thing that was going on or whatever. Um, got people pushing that narrative, wanting to see some kind of unrest, because once that happens, it's what they ultimately want. They want to see something pop off in a manner of speaking. And I'm sorry I'm going down a rabbit hole here, but it just reminded me of it. Because once they do that, they can literally and openly suspend the very document that they all despise because it keeps them from being tyrants. The only thing that holds these bastards in check is the Constitution of the United States. And
that's not doing a very good job of it right now.
Okay, I understand that. But okay, even though it's not being respected, it still holds the leash loosely around their neck. Okay?
But it doesn't. The only people who are leashed currently are those that can make them people answer.
I understand that, but hear me out. Just hear me out for a second. What they're wanting to do is they're wanting an excuse where they can go in front of everybody, the public themselves, and suspend that shit, and the public not rise up and raise hell about it. So they're going to create a situation.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, if they can get something to pop off, as far as some kind of civil damn unrest and start suspending the fucking Constitution, you can bet your ass they're going to do it. And it's what they want.
I agree with that. But I'm saying that what I'm saying is that people won't allow that to go unresponded to.
Right, I understand that, but what I'm saying is if they do it in the right way, because people are so fucking weak-minded nowadays, okay? If they do it the right way, more people will buy into it and not challenge it. Because right now, if they were to do it, you'd have people on the left saying, "Oh fuck, what are these people doing?" Even though their minds somewhere off in left field thinking about soy lattes and jeans, they're going to wake up and say, "Wait a minute, why is the government taking this from this?" And so what they're wanting to do is they're wanting to present it in a way and be able to enact it in a way where you've got less opposition. That's all I'm trying to say. I think the government wants as least opposition as possible because then they don't have to commit so many resources and they can squash any opposition quickly. That's why they want all the big tech in bed with them. That's why they want all the, I mean, you know all this.
I agree with you. The problem is we have spent too much time sitting on our asses and letting shit happen. And now everybody has the attitude of, well, I guess we'll just have to wait until November.
Well,
but so okay, yeah, and talking around and around on this subject here, what we were discussing earlier about what's his name going to jail or prison.
Yeah,
if that comes out, think about this. If that comes out, then that not only opens him up, but the whole organization. A federal organization, police organization that actively participated in bringing down a sitting president. That's a coup. That's exactly what they've been. It's exactly what they've been telling. January 6th, it was a coup. It was whatever. No, we'd have been stacking bodies.
And I absolutely agree with you. But the coup label won't stick because it won't be coming from a bipartisan group of people. It won't be a coup because it was liberally motivated,
endorsed.
Oh yeah, and that's the other thing too. In listening to that the Megyn Kelly interview was the fact that you had all these Republican lawmakers are, well, yeah, we're going to investigate this. If we take the midterms, even if they take the midterms, I honest to God don't think anything's going to not anything big.
No.
It might be a couple of days in the news, but other than that, nah.
I guess my whole point is we at this point I do not see an amicable solution to the current problem. There will never be a time again in the future of our country where the left does not try to politically assassinate any conservative that dares to run against them. Because they got away with it. We will never again have a free and fair election in this country because they got away with it. So I do not see an amicable solution for the political divide in this country. I just don't. And it's sad to say, but I don't see a way forward that can be answered by a voting box.
In voting box to work, things will have to take place.
Because I don't know about y'all, but I'll never trust another election in this country again, no matter who gets. And the fact of the matter is, if there's a conservative candidate who the left doesn't try to politically assassinate,
then they're behind getting them elected.
I don't know that I want that person in office anyway.
Yeah, you might wind up with a Romney or a McCain or something like that.
Or a Chris Christie, or
you're going to end up with a rhino.
So for Christ's sake, you could end up with Lindsey Graham as president.
Well, I can't subscribe to the mindset that all is lost. I won't. I believe
I don't think that all is lost.
Okay, but let me expound on that. I think there is a way to right the ship, but I think the only way it can be righted is it's going to take some real dedication and hard work from the people still in government that have some scruples and a moral compass. It's going to take.
Name me somebody under the age of 40 that describes who you just besides.
Okay, I don't have an answer for you, bro. I'm just saying this is my view. I don't know, but what I'm saying is that I believe that it can be achieved. I think that it's just going to, in order for it to work, it's going to take an extreme amount of work on the behalf of the people left up there that might have a backbone or moral compass, as I said, and the people of this country holding people. Now, I understand, and what I mean by holding people accountable, that's not sitting there, writing a check to this political donation or sitting on TV watching Fox or whatever. I'm talking about being active and involved, okay? Which means being a poll watcher. It means being, showing up at a fucking senator or damn representative's town hall or showing up at their office or whatever. It's going to take people holding them accountable, because the one thing I guarantee a fucking politician hates is for people to be at their fucking doorstep interrupting their plans. And if you're if you're doing that to their ass every fucking day, they're going to know, without a doubt, that if they don't do what they were fucking elected to do, they're going to be bounced out on their ass.
Maybe not.
Well, they're going to get a lot more of a feeling of it there than they are as it is right now.
But I guess my point of it is, though, is if they got elected because somebody wanted them installed, they're going to stay in office because somebody wants them to be there. It doesn't matter what they do in regards to their constituents. That's my point. Is we don't have an honest election in this country.
I don't think we've probably not had an honest election in 20, 25 years.
That's
not 100%. But what I'm going to, well, I get that. I'm not arguing your point or telling you wrong. I'm just saying that I think this particular election coming up, the November, I think I'd be very surprised if the DNC tries the same modus operandi to overturn like they did the last one, because they know people are watching.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt, but Reaper's in the chat. While he's here, I just want to say, hey, congrats to you and Bone Crusher.
Congrats, brother.
Thanks for hopping in and joining us for a few minutes.
Yep, absolutely.
Sorry, go ahead, man.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm just saying that I think they're less apt to try the same play this time because so many people are watching what's going on. You see what I'm saying?
I wish that I could agree with you, but I think that they're going to do the exact same thing that they did in 2019.
I think they're less apt to do it this time. They might try some other shit. They might try and create another issue. They really wanted another pandemic to take hold. They're wanting anything they can do to manipulate mail-in ballots, things of that nature.
I mean, let's be real though. That. In regards to the mail-in ballot issue, they're sitting in the exact same spot right now with election laws as they were just prior to the 2020 election. There have been no major election law changes in any state in the country since the presidential election.
No, there is not. But the stuff is still going on as far as people being investigated, people losing their jobs from different states.
How is we're 3 years later, we're still investigating this shit?
I understand that. I'm not saying it's moving at the pace it should. The point I'm making is it's in the spotlight. They're less apt to use that same play because people are paying attention. Now, we all know
there's a small contingent of paying attention, but the average American citizen, they done forgot about that shit. They don't care.
Okay, but it only takes one person to be at the right place at the right time and get the shit documented and get at the right people, and you can't fucking bury it. Just takes one person.
You're right.
So I think they'll hold off on that. Now, if they get their ass handed to them in November, and this is a prediction, I may be totally wrong, and y'all can all say that. That's fine. I think come November. Okay. Well, I'm saying if they lose their ass in November and the Republicans roll and trounce them like we all hope they do, then what's going to happen is then they're going to pull every fucking thing out of the damn closet they can.
That's right.
Come the presidential election. That's when they're going to get dirty. That's when they're going to use every fucking play they can to overwhelm the American people. And basically,
all of a sudden it'll be election fraud is real.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Russian interference.
That's right.
Election fraud's real.
And
I can understand where both of you are coming from. Demon, on your point, the first time that we figured we wanted to make a break. It took about 60 years, 50 or 60. And it was an ongoing conversation the whole time. And if you really want to, I mean, yeah, I think constitutionally we have the right to do that. The only bad, well, I say bad, the downside is that there are no clear lines anymore. There's no geographical demarcation for that argument. And I'm not saying it's a bad argument. I'm just saying that is what it is.
No, I agree with that.
And I kind of also agree the fact that maybe they won't, they won't use as many mules this time to steal an election, being that it's going to be midterms instead of presidential. But oh yeah, those are squirrely fuckers. So they're going to do something. But like you're saying, absentee, is be a poll watcher with a camera. And don't let that stuff wait until after the election comes out to send it to every news outlet out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's other than your plan, that I think in the next coming up to this election term, that's what you're gonna have to do. Like I said, we're gonna have to do exactly what they've been doing, is get out there and force. And the bad part about that is I don't think that, like you're saying, the average American out there doesn't really want to be concerned with getting off his ass, getting off the couch, and going out to look at a poll.
And the ones that do want to be concerned with it are too busy working.
Exactly. Yeah, we have jobs. We got to pay for all the, the crumb munchers sitting in.
We got to pay for the loan forgiveness. Don't forget about that.
It's hard enough to get an hour off to go vote.
Exactly.
Well, I myself truly hope that this election coming up goes the way we hope it does. And then if it does, we'll figure out where to go from there. But the only way...
I do too. I just don't have an expectation of it to at all.
Well, I can't be a glass half empty. It just won't work for me. I'm not saying you can't be. But I think I'm going to have to step it up and do what I can to at least be involved here locally and do my part. That way, if shit goes sideways, or whatever, I tried.
I mean,
at least in this particular situation.
We've been preaching that very thing for.
I know.
Since that November. I mean,
I understand that. I agree. But we can preach it all day long. But I'm going to have to take the steps to practice what I'm preaching, because I'm no better than John Q. Public sitting his big ass on the damn couch, sipping on damn Coors and eating a bag of fucking Doritos, watching, Survivor. If my ass don't get up and go and get involved some way legally, then I'm no better than any of these other people with their fucking heads stuck in the damn sofa cushions.
Yeah. Exactly.
Who am I to tell somebody what to do?
So I agree. What's up, Forsaken? How are y'all? Oh, and Reaper, if you're still around, don't listen to Palmetto. She's full of shit. Ain't nobody bullying her.
Told him it was lies, man. Lies.
Don't listen to a word that comes out of her mouth. And those are lies straight from the pits of hell. Sorry, I just saw that comment. I'm sure it was probably like 30 minutes ago, but yeah, Reaper, her eyes still brown. Oh. I definitely, I definitely agree. I'm not, and don't get me wrong. Just because I say I don't believe there to be an amicable solution outside of a political divorce. That don't mean that I don't agree with you in so far as continuing to pursue forcing honest elections and
Right.
all those sorts of things. You just because you and I might feel like the end result might be different doesn't mean that we can't still share in the fight.
Absolutely.
You know, which is, I mean, like I said, the things that we've just said a few minutes ago with uh, going to being a poll watcher, ballot drop off points, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those are things that we've all been railing on since the November of 2019, since the election results came out. So
Yeah.
I agree. The difficulty we are going to have is that not only are we fighting against the political left, we are fighting against the establishment right and multiple federal agencies.
Well, I'll carry it a step further than that. There's another group we're fighting against too, and they're the worst one. You know what that is?
Ourselves.
The sheeple. Yeah, the sheeple. The sheeple are the problem.
Right.
If people will wake the fuck up and put down the soy latte and the fucking hot pocket, cut off the TV for a minute and just think, use the noodle.
Right, but people don't like disrupting their status quo.
No, they don't.
No,
They don't.
they don't.
If saying seeing XYZ, for example, okay, perfect example. If they see an article that be verified about Starbucks actively donating to Planned Parenthood for to increase abortions in low income areas, and they personally feel that abortion is wrong, but they keep going their ass to Starbucks anyway for that pumpkin spice. Their political opinion, their personal moral values have zero standing because they financially actively worked against their own moral standing.
Right, so they're part of the problem.
Right.
Well,
that's just one example, and sure. I'm guilty of it too. I'll be honest, I'm guilty of it too. The only place I have to shop in this town that I live in is Walmart. I despise Walmart.
Right.
I hate the amount of money that Walmart sends outside of the country.
Sucks.
but I literally have nowhere else to go buy things unless I want to drive an hour in any direction.
Well, you bring up a good point, a very valid point. It's impossible because of the society we live in today, and because we're no longer self-sufficient in anything, because we've allowed ourselves to be kind of painted in a corner with our electronics, every level of industry we've been painted in a corner because it's all been by design.
Right.
So it's virtually impossible to cut out each and every company out there or organization who supports this fucked up, warped agenda, because the only reason they're supporting it is because it's their profit margin.
Right. It's making them money.
That's it. That's all they're concerned with. It doesn't matter if it's morally right. It matters if it's going to make their stockholders money. So, yeah, we can cut out all these different things, but it's virtually impossible to function and cut each and every one of those things out of your life, more than likely. There's something somewhere, one of these companies somewhere, whether it's the grocery store chain you go to, or whoever manufactures your whatever. I'm just saying there's something somewhere that you're going to have to do business with, whether it be Amazon or whoever, that you may need, because you can't obtain what you need through another means at the same cost. And because they've made the damn economy so fucked up where you can't afford to buy a damn Happy Meal now, if you work for a living, I'm going to say, that you're looking to pinch those pennies everywhere.
Yeah, you have to.
Exactly. And
it's simple shit. It's simple shit. Like, I was sitting at work today, and dude was talking about this brand of juice, Boathouse Farms. And he was talking about he got one of their juices and it tore up his stomach or something. Right? I said, well, I don't ever have to deal with that. He said, why is that? He said, because I'm too fucking poor to be able to afford the expensive shit like that. I said, I got to go buy the Walmart brand frozen concentrate.
I grew up on that shit, man.
Frozen grape.
I grew up. I used to get my orange juice.
Like, who the hell can afford to drink Boathouse Farms juice? Like, it's like that with everything.
Yeah.
You're
absolutely right.
But half the problem is that societally, we as a country have decided that manufacturing jobs are beneath us, and production jobs are beneath us. And I'm an American. I'm too good to do this or that or the other. That's why a Chevrolet vehicle, by the percentages, is more produced outside of the United States than in the United States, and it's an American vehicle.
Yep.
My Nissan vehicle, by the percentages, is more made in America than either Ford, Chevy, or Dodge.
Yep, your Toyota is the same way.
Yeah, but I'm going to say also part of the reason that is because of the unions too.
Well, you're not wrong, but I've said for years, unions ain't worth a shit.
Unions were good when they began. I understand their purpose.
Unions haven't had a purpose in this country since the 50s.
I get, and initially when unions came about, I get their meaning and why they were there, and they did serve a purpose to help the worker. It's happened like it's just like the federal government. The shit got real big and out of control with no oversight.
Here's the thing. Unions were never designed to help the worker. You know what unions were originally designed for? Unions were designed to put certain appointed political candidates in office. That's what unions were for. That was the sole purpose of unions. And for those that might be watching that doubt what I'm saying, just go do a little research about like Tammany Hall and stuff like that in New York City. You'll see what the purpose of unions were for. But I absolutely agree that it serves zero purpose whatsoever. Did they kind of help? Maybe. But the problem with unions, we'll go back to a little bit of history. Anybody guess what political party established unions in the United States?
Same one that supported slavery.
Right. You know why they established those unions? Aside from political appointees? To establish a new form of slavery.
Right.
That's why you had company stores, and people would get jobs in the mines and stuff like that.
Spend all their money.
And the company wouldn't give them an actual paycheck. They would give them a credit to the company store.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
all in-house.
There's a country song back in the day that said there was a line that said he sold his soul to the company store.
Yep.
Because that's all a union was Democrats formed a union for a form of legal slavery. That's all they were for. Free labor.
Sure.
For the price of a couple of cans of beans and a loaf of bread, and we get free labor to do whatever. Hell yeah, it's legal slavery.
Yeah. believe
So if you're a member of a union now, you're a damn fool, and that's a fact. Because federally speaking, if you are an employee at a company where a union exists, you cannot be coerced into joining said union as a condition of employment. That's federally illegal. And two, if you are an employee of a company, the union has the same duty to protect your wine garden rights as they do as a dues paying member of the union. But that's another
That's another live.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, teachers, mail carriers, and what the hell does a mail carrier need to be a union for?
Well,
What does
if you think about it,
what does a teacher need to be protected by the union for? If a teacher do their job, they should be fucking fired. If a police officer can't do his job properly, he should be fucking fired.
well, now you know that every state doesn't have teacher unions.
No, but most of them do.
I know my state does not.
And this is coming from a person. That statement's coming from a person who, excuse me, who has had multiple jobs that are union covered, but B,
Right.
I have multiple family members who are teachers.
Right.
But if
No,
a teacher
I know.
can't do their job in a proficient manner, do you want them continue teaching? The base of a union was the idea of skilled trade. That's what it was sold as, but that's not what it was for. Because let's be real,
Well,
being a miner is not a skilled trade. There's 1,000 jobs that are covered by unions that require no skill whatsoever. They weren't to protect skilled trade. They were to force generations of families into labor jobs that nobody wanted to go into.
well, they ultimately became a tool for the unions themselves to get rich, because what they would do is they had the power of, let's say you had 90% of the employees, let's say Teamsters, for instance, and you had 90% of the employees there, and you either are going to give us this benefits package with this money and make these dues, or we're going to strike, and then your company shuts down. You know, they were basically working both sides of the fence. They were working to get their extra dues from their, all the employees, getting rich off that. And then they were getting all this kickback from all these packages they negotiate for whatever company or, organization. It's a it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. And it's a tool.
Both sides. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a political tool is what it is.
Sure. Because if you ever look, almost every time when a union jumps, we're supporting this candidate. First off, a union shouldn't have nothing to fucking do with a candidate. That's not their job.
But it
shouldn't be. I know. But I'm saying they shouldn't. Just like the FBI should do their job, but they don't.
Unions are the face of lobbyists. That's it.
Sure. Yeah. Right. And it's this right here. Money. So, well, this has been a lively evening.
We got off some tangents today.
We dropped some facts. So, I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yes, Live Freedom, they've been trying for years to federalize pretty much everything.
Oh yeah, the leftists and some of the right would love nothing more than to federalize the oil industry, the picket industry.
Mm-hmm.
They can't run it worth shit, but they'd love to federalize it.
Right. They want federalize everything to help destroy the
so
middle
they can
class.
reduce the amount of resistance they have in destroying it.
Sure. Sure. The middle class, both political parties hate.
Yeah, absolutely.
They hate the middle class. If you are in a
Well,
middle management job somewhere,
I would say the left and establishment GOP hate the middle class.
correct. I stand corrected. You're
But
absolutely right.
your average
Yeah.
conservative, I think your average conservative understands that the middle class is what makes this country tick.
Right, but you're right. The establishment, basically the rhinos.
Yeah,
You're
that's
absolutely
kind
right.
of like that's what I just call it. If I'm talking about rhinos, it's the establishment. It's the
Sure.
established GOP.
Sure.
It ain't the party of Thomas fucking Jefferson. I'll tell you that.
Nope. Nope. If our forefathers were here today, they would be just losing their shit.
Oh yeah,
GOP,
England didn't have nothing on what's
the
going on
GOP looks nothing like the anti-federalists did at the beginning of the country.
Mm-mm.
And speaking of federalist and anti-federalists, if y'all want some insight on what the original thoughts were for this country, and a lot of where I have based many of my opinions from, go read the Federalist and Anti-Federalist papers. There's and I'm not ashamed to admit that there are good points on both arguments, but I'm here to tell you right now that if I was alive in 1775 to 1790, I 100% would have been an anti-federalist. Absolutely. So if y'all like history and stuff like that, and you want a better understanding of where we came from and how the Constitution was written the way that it was, go check out the Federalist and Anti-Federalist papers. They can all be found online for free.
Yep.
Matter of fact, I think there was a college in Tulsa, Oklahoma, who published them all on their website for free to download.
Nice.
So, and I mean, it's all of them. You can download them to the PDF format. You can download them, print them out, and do whatever you want with them. But you should read them.
Okay.
I would even tiptoe so far as to say that I think that the average American should probably read those before they really form a solid political opinion of their own in regards to changes to be made to the Constitution and stuff like that. So, anyway, we've gotten so off base of where we were at originally. I hope y'all have enjoyed it. It's a shit show like normal. So, you know.
I think it was good. I don't think it was. I mean, I think we kept everything above board and stayed on. We discussed the topic we were here for.
Yeah, for about
and then
5
we went
minutes.
off. Well, you know.
Okay. Maybe a little bit longer.
But we had some good discussion. I think that's what's good when we can sit here and go back and forth with things. And that, to me, that's when you found your groove.
Yeah,
you may not agree, or you may see it from viewpoints, but we can sit here and have that discussion. That is what you're looking for.
Well, and I think it's important too that whoever decides later on in life to watch these videos doesn't sit here and say, "Man, that was just a bunch of waspy white dudes that all agree about the same thing." That, you know.
Are you assuming by pigmentation?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you assumed correct.
The fact that we don't necessarily agree on everything, I think, aids in facilitating discussion about things.
Sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's what encourages rational discussion. I think.
So, even though, I think you're a crazy old boomer, but,
That's okay. I've been called worse, much worse.
even though I know you're not a boomer.
Oh, I've had many an expletive assigned to me.
So, but I don't know if we really got anything else to scrape on this evening.
Well, we can cut it off here, and we can come up with some good shit for Thursday.
I think that sounds like a good
Sounds like
idea.
a plan.
So, everybody, we appreciate you coming in and watching. Appreciate the commentary. Y'all make sure to come check us out again on Thursday evening.
Absolutely. Saxman, I'm gonna let you say your bit, or you go first.
Oh man, I don't have a whole lot. I would just say, like we've been saying throughout the whole thing, just don't give up hope. That's all you got. Whichever way you're thinking there, just don't give up hope on it.
I agree. I guess I'll take my shot now. I'll let Demon close everything out.
Quit eating,
yes,
man.
he's right.
That's his line, though, man.
Words to live by. Don't be sticking things where they don't belong.
All right.
That being said, everybody keep your eye on the prize. And like Saxman said, don't give up hope. There's always hope. I'm a firm believer that the good Lord has a way of leveling the playing field when it needs to be leveled. We may not agree with the way he levels it. We may not like the way he levels it. But it's being done for a reason. Sometimes we don't know why, but we just got to keep on keeping on. He's not going to put a challenge in front of us we can't overcome. We just got to be willing to overcome it.
That's right.
So that being said,
I have
stay
nothing.
safe.
I got nothing spectacular to add other than this. I finally decided who Saxman sounds like with his congestion.
Okay.
He sounds kind of like Joe from Family Guy, the guy in the wheelchair.
Hey.
Oh, damn.
Just saying. That's all I got.
Oh, I can hear it now.
All right, everybody. Good night.
All right.
Thanks for checking us out, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Okay, bye.